Okay, I'm back. As we get transitioned over here, I'd like to, so Ron from University of New Haven is going to be next. Then we'll have the Dean from Washington University in St. Louis, University of Georgia, and then UC Davis. So if the rest of you could sit towards the front and kind of queue up. And you have exactly 4 minutes. And ready, Ron?
Well, I'm not sure what's worse, to stand between you and lunch or to stand between you and alcoholic beverages. But here I am. Larry, is there a pointer here?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, should be on the podium. Someone took it. Yeah, push the green to advance it.
So Stephen kind of from SWRI set me up for this about technical communication. It's something that we've been struggling with, I think, for quite some years within an engineering context. And so I wanted to kind of give you, share with you an approach that we're using at New Haven, which is an integrated approach. So I think you know the problem. Employers want this. I claim that, and this is my students, only about 10% of entering students are proficient in technical communication, and this is not based on any study, but a show of hands that I ask at every open house that I have, and I get about 10% of hands going up that say that they either like writing and speaking or they are good at it. So that's the New Haven students. Dartmouth probably gets a little higher percentage, but you know, the problem nevertheless is there. I would assert that a couple of composition courses or even a technical communication course is not going to fix a problem that hasn't been fixed in K through 12. Students often view those as just more English courses or more gen ed courses. They don't take it seriously. And so that can only go so far. So what we are doing is really to provide an immersive experience over all 4 years of the undergraduate program. And this is through a project to integrate technical communication habits. We call it PITCH. It was funded by the Davis Educational Foundation, which funds schools in New England. And really, what we're doing is to, as I mentioned, to integrate technical communication into courses that are required or required courses within programs, and we are doing it across the board, across all engineering and computer science program. In terms of providing some instruction related to the communication aspects, we start in the second semester of the freshman year with a 1-credit online course that is paired with an on-ground course that provides the instructional content that is taught by someone who is a communications expert, a faculty member who is not engineer. We also provide online resources for high-level courses or 3rd and 4th year courses, but there is no 4-credit course. These are resources that are provided. The technical communication person works with engineering faculty who are deploying or integrating these aspects into their courses. And so it covers written, oral, and visual communication, and covers instruments, different kinds of instruments like tech memos, lab reports, and so on. Proposals, projects. These are the outcomes that we hope that students will have by the time they graduate. I'm not going to read through these, but those are the set of outcomes that we developed. Now, this is a roadmap in one particular program. I think this is chemical engineering, which kind of shows, starting with the very first semester introduction to engineering course, as students progress through their 4 years, which courses hit on technical communication and which aspects of that technical communication are covered in the various courses. So students receive constant feedback through this process as they progress from one course to another, and so it's an immersive experience. And anecdotally, anyway, and we've done some studies as well, this is working much better. Our students are coming out much stronger by the time they graduate. There are a couple of papers that are in ASW conferences that, if you wanted more detail on these, this approach, towards an integrated approach. It is taxing, and engineering faculty need to be convinced because we are getting them to do this in their courses. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. This is something we did, and as I was describing it to someone last year, they said, "Gee, that's a really cool idea." So I said, "Oh, I know what I'm supposed to do with those." We recently launched a new PhD program in imaging science, and I just want to describe it a little bit. And the way I think of it is that the program got defined by an emerging field as opposed to a department, and that's how we went about it. So what is imaging science? Oh, and now I see the problem with the really little bitty print down there. It's really this interdisciplinary field between, touches imaging in all aspects, everything from the design and optimization of imaging systems, the computation, the extraction of information, the physics, the idea of what the translational work might be. Sort of the thing that made it both challenging and cool is the set of disciplines that we drew from, and these are drawing from them from a faculty and departmental perspective. So from engineering, we've got BME, EE, and computer science. From the sciences, although I will say that though the physics, applied math, biology, chemistry folks are been helping us do stuff, that it's really the physics folks that have been mostly involved. And then being WashU, you can't do anything without the School of Medicine. And if you were to do something in imaging without medicine, that would make no sense at all. In fact, our biggest supporters are radiology and radiation oncology. And as you know, the ubiquity of imaging has meant that the need for people who understand fundamentally about imaging has just exploded. And for people who can innovate in that space, which means you have some idea of everything from image formation to sort of instrumentation, gathering, computation, it's a pretty deep pipeline. So this is just to give you a sense of sort of where the curriculum came from. It's even evolved since then. So here you can just see a list of sort of the core courses that everybody takes. Okay, so everybody gets exposure from the biomedical side, from the computing side, the EE side, physics side. You can read the courses yourself there. And then what happens is there's sort of these more slightly advanced directions, and you have to take a bunch of courses from that as well. Coming from my world, I found it a little course heavy, but I understood that the goal here was really to expose all of these students to this breadth. And this particular textbook, I would say, served as a bit of a they view it as the Bible of imaging science. I think it's a little limited, but it sort of gave a groundwork there. I will say that there's some interesting, how do you set up something quite this interdisciplinary? So there are actually over 50 faculty at WashU who are members of the program. And what that means is that they can actually serve as PhD advisors, okay, within that program. But about 15 of them, I would say, are core to, they come and figure out what the curriculum is and what the exams qualifying and all that process is. The numbers here that you'll see, they don't add up to 50 because people have multiple appointments, but that just gives you a sense of the breadth of what's going on. A little bit of logistics. So the students actually apply to the imaging science program, and they're admitted by an admissions committee of the imaging science program. They do rotations amongst a bunch of faculty, and then we had a slightly interesting thing to figure out. In engineering, certainly the first semester of the students are paid for by the department. In some departments, it's first year. But when students come in, you don't actually know what departments they're going to end up in. So we worked out both cross engineering and with the medical school and with physics that basically wherever the students land, they pay retroactively. So when you become a BME student, then BME eventually will pick up the first year or the first semester that you did, which means that every advisor has sort of a primary home that is the home that the student is associated with. Just to let you know, every now and then when you do something you're not sure it's a good idea, the results speak for themselves. So we went live with this website December 15th of 2017, and we had sent out some information, et cetera. We had 80 completed applications by Feb 1, which was remarkable. We interviewed, they were incredibly strong. We Skype interviewed 20 of them, admitted 14, 11 of them matriculated. This year, 60 when I put the slides together, and the students were even stronger. And I now have faculty, in fact, I think I put that down here, This has been part of just a bigger effort of us growing in imaging. And yeah, so in January we became the McKelvey School of Engineering, which was a separate whole fun event I can tell you about. But this has been part of an investment that we've made both at engineering and the med school in just imaging science in general. The majority of the investment, of course, is in hiring faculty. But I now have faculty who are here, who are at WashU, because this PhD program exists. So they left where they were to come to us because they want to see this synergy that cuts across. For more information there, you can reach out. And I was going to put a URL, but I'm not giving you the URL. So just Google Imaging Science PhD WashU, actually WUSL or WashU, and you'll find it. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name's Don Leo, and I'm with the College of Engineering at the University of Georgia. And just very quickly, a little bit about UGA. Our College of Engineering is interesting in many ways, but one way we're interesting is that UGA as an institution is over 230 years old. It was founded in 1785, about 4 years before our U.S. Constitution was fully ratified. But our engineering college was founded in the 21st century, and so our college was born on July 1st, 2012. I've been there now 6 years as dean, and I mention that to you because we've consciously tried to do a number of new things as part of building this College of Engineering. And one of the things that we're really focusing on, and you've heard it a lot here today, is the professional development of our students. And I feel that the discipline of engineering is changing. We see that at this meeting. We talk a lot at this meeting about design, innovation, but let's also face it, a lot of our students go into engineering services, management, other types of aspects of engineering. And what we tell our students is that, anybody who's going to be hired from a program like ours in this room is expected to be excellent technically, but what's going to differentiate them is those professional skills. We don't use the term soft skills. We use the term professional skills. That's what's going to differentiate them in their career. Can they collaborate? Can you communicate? Can you lead? And we've done a number of things throughout our program to promote these activities, and I just wanted to focus on, in the next couple minutes, a program that we've developed at the senior level, where we take our capstone design and use that as a platform to implement what we call an Emerging Engineering Leadership Development Program. And we've heard a lot of aspects of that today. We just heard it in the previous session. And what you see on this chart here is the various aspects of this program. A couple of our takes on this, like you've seen some other places today, we developed this program for all of our engineering students, so we can say every one of our engineers comes out with this leadership development program. I think when I came to UGA, I was very conscious of trying to take advantage of the other great strengths of UGA. UGA really holds true to its land-grant mission, so we have a very strong public service and outreach program. The J.W. Fanning Institute for Leadership and Development, they go around the state, around the country to do leadership programs. We tailor those for our engineering students, and the modules that you see up there are the modules that they've developed for us. We work with our faculty to let them customize them in some ways. Our faculty can choose these different modules that have been developed, and then these modules are delivered as part of our senior capstone design, which is a year long, as short, focused learning modules, 2 hours each, that are run by public service and outreach faculty in the J.W. Fanning Institute. I want to highlight Stephen Durham. He's a professor and assistant dean in our college. He was really the architect of this program. He piloted it for our civil and environmental engineering program. Now it is across all of our degree programs. One final point about this, just if you look at those modules, I'm very interested, for example, in the working across generations. I visited one of our recent alumni. She had graduated within the past year. She stepped into a position where she was in charge of about 20 people in her organization. Some of them had been at that institute or that company for 20, 25 years. So for her, that position to have been exposed to these ideas around conflict resolution, working across generation, I think is very valuable to her. And just to finish up, we do a number of assessments, and Stephen's published a couple papers on this at design conferences, and to really understand how the students view this as a personal journey in their understanding of leadership and management. And then, to finish up, I think, we've heard a lot today about how these professional skills prepare our students. our placement rate is good, our graduation, the salaries are good, but then we heard a lot in the previous session about how these sorts of concepts are very important for collaborative research too. This resonates with industry, right? They're often trying to get students that have these skills, but then also many industry partners are happy that we've educated them in this way so that they can save money, and that allows them to give us back a little bit of money as well. And then finally, we're challenged a little bit at UGA because we've only got about 4,000 contactable alumni. And so I found that these ideas around leadership, teamwork, collaboration really resonate not only with engineering donors, but also people across disciplines. And I think it's helped us raise some money for this program as well. So I'm happy to provide any information. Just catch me, and I'll get you in touch with Stephen if you're interested in any more details. Thanks.
Okay, so the poster is not our cool idea, although I think it's a pretty cool idea. The poster was motivated by our Chancellor, Gary May, an electrical engineer who I think many of you know. He's a big Star Trek fan, so this poster is outside the hallway in our dean's office and hopefully makes our students know that we're very accessible. So our big idea, is a seminar course. And the title of the seminar course is How to Secure and Succeed in an Engineering Job. And it's a 1-credit course. And we have a number of seminar courses. We have courses on types of engineering jobs, the various engineering majors. We have a seminar course on the NAE Grand Challenges. We have a course on freshman engineering. Motivates them. I get a lot of comments along that regard. A lot of our students are first generation and underrepresented minorities, and I think it's very important for them to see the light at the end of the tunnel. And the alumni instructors that we have are from diverse backgrounds. The idea is to keep them motivated towards their end career goal while they may be struggling with chemistry, physics, and calculus. A lot of them have gotten internship connections and jobs through this course. And the students now have a direct interface with the dean. I get a lot of feedback now because I'm in front of the students 1 hour per week. I've developed some mentoring relations with specific students. And also, I think that students as a whole, the word is getting out. The dean and the dean's office is accessible to them. A big thing is the alumni engagement. Alums that we were having difficult getting a one-on-one meeting with will definitely travel to give a lecture. They'll travel across the country. And we really leverage their time on campus. We introduce them to the college's top priorities, and it's really a springboard for further engagement with these alums. Thank you.